Welcome to the Reservation Homesteader. So if you're not familiar with my channel, every week I try to work on something, a different topic or something that comes up. And this week we're going to be going over UTVs and why I chose my UTV. I chose a UTV over an ATV because a UTV feels a little bit safer. It has a top to it. It's a little bit more comfortable. It can hold multiple people. It can also carry more things. And in the state of Arizona, you can get it street legal. So even though I'm on the reservation, I'm on the border, so I can actually take this into town. And so far, I haven't had any problems. I chose this specific UTV because of the brand name, and because this is kind of built more for off-roading. And I've seen some of the other UTVs. Actually, while I was at the dealership, I seen some more, I guess you'd say, like work UTVs rather than racing UTVs come in, and they were just beat up. And I asked what happened. They said, well, they took them off road, and I guess the company that they worked for, that's kind of their thing, was a mining company. And I was like, geez, I deal with some pretty rugged terrain sometimes, and I think those UTVs wouldn't have worked for me, for my homestead or my terrain. Those are probably more built for like operating on roads and like paved roads and such. I'm sure a golf cart probably could do what they're doing. So that's why I chose mine. It's built a little bit more rugged, built for rugged terrain. Even though I'm not racing or anything like that, it is nice to know that I do have that ability. So we'll go over mine. So this is my Kawasaki Teryx. It's a 4x4 800 cc. It has the capability, like I said, because I do live on the border, so I can't take this into town. It has the capability to go approximately 45 miles an hour, and you can go 45 miles an hour, but it really feels horrible. I'll be honest, because it's basically like going 40 miles an hour in your car in first gear. It doesn't like shift gears or anything like that, so you're like just buzzing around. One modification I added, like as soon as I started going really fast, was a windshield. That makes a huge improvement, because I was eating so many bugs when I'd be going fast, and it just wasn't fun. So this has some pretty cool features. So like I said, this is I think the Teryx are known more for like racing, but this one has a bed for one, and then, well, I'm not going to do it right now because there's stuff in the back, but you can actually open and close it, or I'm sorry, you could lift it so it goes back if you want to use it for dumping things. I think we've only used it once to dump horse manure. We have this thing that's what we use for dumping things or things like that. So this has all the bells and whistles. I told them to make it street legal when I bought it, so they literally just added a horn and I think added some different lights to it. It wasn't like a huge makeover. I think it costed like $500. It wasn't that big of a deal. But it has, I've modified other things. Like I put my own lasso on there in case an animal gets out. I always have it handy. You always want to have a lasso handy. You never know what you're going to need it for, but you will need it eventually. Oh, that was one of the things, mirror. So I always keep, headlamp in here too. So I haven't added the anything else really. I haven't modified it much. but this does have plenty of storage. So like there's these two big things in here, these two big giant buckets that you can put stuff in. The only thing I don't really like is, you know, say you're looking for your hammer or something, it's like way at the bottom, and if you really need something you have to kind of like dig through anything. It's kind of like one of those like a deep freezer where it's a top loader, where, you know, if something's on the bottom you got to pull everything out, so that's kind of inconvenient, but it is a huge space. So I actually found this little solar panel at the swap meet for like $10. I didn't realize it was actually worth a lot more, but I use that to charge my little wireless Bluetooth speaker that I keep in here. I did add these holders. Usually I carry a pellet gun in here just because it's, you know, it's always good to have a pellet gun. You don't know if you're going to run into a snake, a coyote. I think I said this before, but a pellet gun will do the trick for most animals. Once they get stung by it, they're going to run away. So I always keep a pellet gun with me. It does have a hitch, which is really convenient. So I actually use this. I have some attachments I use for it. But, you know, it does its job. You know, it's able to pull things. So I use it to pull this little wagon. Like I said, I use this for horse manure, or, you know, I got an air compressor in there, but I use it to haul garbage. You know, sometimes I'll just put it by our house. Since our garbage pickup is probably 1/8 of a mile from our house, 1/4 of a mile from our house, I just put it in the wagon and drive it over to the end of the road. So it can be hauled away, but, you know, it makes life a lot easier. Having a UTV on your homestead will allow you to, you know, work on many different projects during the day, rather than being limited to what you can handle, you know, what you can carry in your hands. You know, right now I got my backup power, got a drill, I got some tools, got a hammer drill. I'm going to use that, and I also have, you know, other tools on the other side too, but it's really convenient. And if I'm working on a bigger project, what I'll do is I'll pull up and I'll fill it up with all the tools or all the hardware that I need, and then drive over there, so that way I'm not going back and forth and back and forth. So this thing has really become useful. So that's my UTV. It's a, you know, a Kawasaki Teryx, nothing special. And I don't really think you need a UTV for your homestead, but it really makes life a lot easier. And there's also the other factor of having a redundant transportation source. So, you know, say we're in really dire straits and both our vehicles are compromised or whatever, we have another vehicle that we can use. And like I said, it's street legal. I can take it anywhere I want, well, other than the highway. I mean, I can take it on all the surface roads I want, and, you know, it's good. And this does have 4x4. I forgot to show that, but it does have 4x4. So, and it does work. I've taken it out in some pretty muddy conditions, and yeah, it'll pull itself through, you know, some pretty rugged terrain. So it is really useful. So, you know, it's really good, you know, having it as a backup vehicle if you need it. We haven't really been in that situation. It has, I would imagine, maybe a 6 or 7 gallon gas tank on it. So like I said in other videos, I thought I was going to be burning through gas, you know, 5 gallons every 2 weeks or something, but in reality I'm going through like 5 gallons a month, sometimes 2 months. It really doesn't use that much gas. I really don't know the exact miles per gallon, but it's fuel efficient. Um, so if you're looking for a UTV for your homestead, I would take everything into consideration on what you're going to use it for, what needs you're going to have, and you know um, how it will complement your life, because that's really the key. You want it to make your life make living on your homestead as easy as it can be. So you're not carrying bales of hay around your homestead. You can just throw it in the back, or like I said, horse manure. Wheelbarrows are really cool and everything, but moving horse manure from one place to another with a wheelbarrow kind of stinks, especially if you have a lot of livestock. You're talking several 100 pounds. Moving it once or twice a week, that's no fun. So you can really use it for things like that. And it's also kind of a cool toy. I didn't really talk that much about that, but my daughter really likes it. She likes cruising around our homestead, and she's learning how to drive with it. And using the attachments, you can use it if you have a garden. You can use that for clearing your garden, or whatever. There's so many different things. I think Brindley Company is where I get all my attachments from. They're really well built attachments. They send them to you pre-assembled, and you just put them together. It's not a big deal, but there are some really great attachments. And with the attachments that you can get with those, you can really turn this UTV into like a little tractor. It really has that capability. So that's all I have this week. If you have any questions about UTVs or anything, I'm definitely not an expert, but I can tell you about my experience. So feel free to leave some comments. Otherwise, have a good week.